Andre Onana speaks out on his Man United future. Eyes big transfer moves incoming. And for academy stars could start versus Lyon. Let's break it all down. Right now, Andre Onana's true feelings on brutal Man United acts as summer exit option emerges. Andre Onana was dropped from Manchester United's squad for their humbling defeat to Newcastle, and the goalkeeper's stance on his omission have now been revealed. Andre Onana appears to have taken his Manchester United acts positively despite his future now being up in the air. The Cameroonian was dropped from the Red Devils squad for their trip to Newcastle after a series of high-profile errors. Two of those mistakes came in his most recent outing against Lyon following a war of words with ex-United midfielder Nemanja Matic. Backup keeper Altay Bayındır was selected instead of Onana against Newcastle, but he did little to convince he is a long-term option. It remains to be seen whether Onana will return between the sticks in United's next game against Lyon, but his recent omission does not appear to have caused lasting issues. According to those close to him, the goalkeeper's enforced break has done him good. It is said that a weekend away from football allowed the former Inter Milan keeper to rest and recharge both from a physical and mental point of view. Onana was back at Carrington for training this week as Ruben Amorim attempts to get his side prepared for this Thursday's decisive game against Lyon. Explaining Onana's omission, the Portuguese coach said, "Of course, you have to see the context," Amorim told Sky Sports. "It is a normal thing. Sometimes you have to push the player to play again, sometimes you have to let him disconnect a little bit. Tomorrow, he will be in training to prepare for the next one. Lyon. So I felt that it was a good time for Andre to disconnect. I think he was okay about it because I explained, and then you don't need to like it, but you understand because I explain every situation. It's a normal situation," he added. "You have to manage everything. Sometimes people just look at the physical aspect, but the mental aspect is really, really important. It's for just one game, and we give Altay an opportunity. He deserves it also, and then, again, tomorrow is a new life and we will prepare for the next one." Onana's omission has seen his long-term future at Old Trafford called into question. There have been suggestions that Saudi Arabia could be a potential destination for him should he decide to quit United. But there are a few hurdles to any exit. United would need to receive in excess of Onana's book value of £26.3 million in order to make a profit in the eyes of PSR. He is also not considering a move at the current time and is instead more focused on turning the tide. Manchester United set to make fresh decision on goalkeeper Andre Onana. Man United goalkeeper Andre Onana was dropped from the squad to face Newcastle at St James Park last weekend. Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana doesn't know whether he will be recalled against Lyon on Thursday. Onana was at fault for both of Lyon's goals in the Europa League quarter-final first leg last week, and Ruben Amorim subsequently dropped him from the squad to face Newcastle. Altay Bayındır was unconvincing during his audition at St James Park, but sources have indicated Onana is unsure he will be recalled to the starting team to face Lyon at Old Trafford. Amorim initially told Onana to disconnect and rest after his mistakes. Onana's wife, Melanie Cameo, was also robbed outside a restaurant in Alderley Edge last month. Police confirmed that a 25-year-old man from Bradford was arrested in connection with the alleged incident. Bayındır was chosen to start in Onana's absence on Sunday afternoon, and the Turkish international made a mistake which led to Bruno Guimaraes scoring Newcastle's final goal in a 4-1 victory. Although Onana hopes to regain his starting role in United's biggest game of the season, it's thought Amorim could persist with Bayındır and overlook Onana for a successive game. Onana, 29, billed United as way better than Lyon 4 days before the first leg. The French club's midfielder, Nemanja Matic, dubbed Onana one of the worst goalkeepers in the history of Manchester United at Lyon's pre-match press conference on Wednesday. Onana responded by highlighting Matic's 5 trophyless years at United in a social media post. United coach Amorim refused to criticize Onana after the match. "It can happen," Amorim said of Onana's mistakes. "If you play football, you play a lot of games, you can make mistakes. If you look at the season, I make more mistakes than them during these last games and these last months. The other thing is we have one more game to change everything, and that should be our focus. I don't know if Matic unsettled Onana, that can happen. The best thing is to look at the goals, all the actions that Andre had in the game, talk with goalkeeping coaches Jorge, Vital, and Craig Mawson. This is the best way to help any player. It's to focus on the game, what happened, what we need to improve, and then put the player in." I didn't see Onana, to be honest with you. I use these minutes to try to calm down, to come here to say the right things. It's normal. I felt the dressing room was really quiet. We draw away in Europe, that is always hard, but the team is suffering, we need to change that. Man United favourites to sign £30 million star as Arsenal makes surprising transfer decision. Manchester United are favourites to sign Ipswich Town striker Liam Delap this summer after Arsenal made a surprising transfer decision. A number of top clubs have expressed interest in signing Delap, who has hit double digits in the Premier League this season. Delap's productivity in front of goal is even more impressive given he is plying his trade for the third-worst team in the English top flight. Ipswich have won just 4 of their 32 league games this season and look set to be relegated before the end of the month along with Leicester City and Southampton. Once Ipswich's relegation to the Championship is confirmed, clubs can sign Delap for just £30 million due to a clause in his contract. Delap's surprisingly low buyout clause has excited a number of interested clubs, with the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, and Tottenham eyeing summer moves. According to the Daily Mail, Man United are favourites to sign Delap ahead of their Premier League rivals despite another difficult season for the Red Devils. United are only 4 places above Ipswich Town in the Premier League table, having won just 10 of their 32 league games. Despite their dismal league form, Manchester United appear to be leading the race to sign Delap, formerly of Manchester City, before his departure from the Etihad Stadium last summer. There remains the possibility that United miss out on Delap, however, with extensive interest from Spain and Germany as well as almost every team in the Premier League. In fact, it is claimed Arsenal are the only English top-flight club not chasing Delap despite their obvious need for a new striker. Mikel Arteta wanted to welcome a new goalscorer to the Emirates Stadium in January but failed, with Arsenal's bid for Ollie Watkins rejected by Aston Villa. Alexander Isak, Benjamin Sesko, Victor Osimhen and Delap have all been linked with summer moves to Arsenal, but the club have reportedly gone cold on Delap and have decided to look elsewhere for attacking reinforcements. Arsenal will have a significant transfer kitty following their subdued January window, but it remains to be seen how much Amorim is given to improve his struggling United squad. Alan Shearer, the Premier League's all-time record goalscorer, believes Manchester United desperately need to sign a new striker, goalkeeper, and central midfielder. For them to go forwards in terms of recruitment, everything relies on winning the Europa League and getting back in the Champions League, Shearer said on the Rest is Football podcast. We know Ruben Amorim has got a huge job on his hands. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to fix that football club. They need to stick with him. They've made their decision. He needs 2 or 3 transfer windows because they're in desperate need of a center forward, they're in desperate need of a goalkeeper, they're in desperate need of some. Joshua Zirkzee replacement named. Man United predicted squad versus Lyon includes 4 academy stars. Europa League. For Manchester United, academy stars are likely to be within Ruben Amorim's squad against Lyon at Old Trafford as Joshua Zirkzee is replaced. Following a heavy 4-1 defeat to Newcastle United on Sunday, Ruben Amorim is now fully focused on Manchester United's Europa League campaign. United returned to Old Trafford on Thursday evening to face Olympique Lyonnais in the decisive second leg of their quarter-final showdown. The first leg ended in a dramatic 2-2 draw in France. Lenny Yoro and Joshua Zirkzee put United ahead twice, but Lyon responded through Thiago Almada and a stoppage-time equalizer from Ryan Cherki to keep the tie finely balanced. With the second leg taking place on home turf, Amorim will be hoping his side can take full advantage and book their place in the semi-finals, where Athletic Bilbao or Rangers await. That semi-final spot is still up for grabs too, after the two sides played out a goalless draw in Glasgow, despite Rangers being reduced to 10 men early on following a red card for Dutch defender Robin Proper just 13 minutes in. Amorim's Zirkzee replacement named. The most significant change in United's squad to face Lyon compared to the side that lost against Newcastle is that forward Zirkzee will not feature, having suffered a hamstring injury in the second half of the defeat. According to BBC Sport, the 23-year-old may not feature again this season owing to the injury's severity, but he will certainly miss several weeks with the issue. With the Dutchman out, Amorim will no doubt have to turn to the academy to replace him, with the most likely replacements being James Scanlon and Jack Morehouse, both of whom Amorim is known to appreciate. Meanwhile, Aiden Heaven will be welcomed back to the Europa League after he was included in the matchday squad against Newcastle. remaining on the bench. Read more. I spoke to him. Rio Ferdinand disagrees with Thierry Henry following embarrassing Lenny Euro analysis. Luke Shaw saw his first minutes since December when he featured for 12 minutes at St. James Park, with Andre Onana set to return to the squad after he was left out on the weekend, although there is no guarantee of who will start in goal. Harry Amas is due to stay within the squad, with his academy teammate Jack Fletcher rounding up the 4 young stars likely to be included in the matchday squad.